Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome back to your Google Classroom. I hope you must have enjoyed your Eid days. Let's begin today's lecture. This is my lecture number 14 for grade 01, and today we have a geography class. As we are done with unit number 8, so today we are going to start unit number 9, which is industrial development and secondary and tertiary industries. In this chapter, we will learn about the secondary sector or the secondary industries, which is all about the manufacturing and the processes, and the tertiary industry or the tertiary sector, which is all about the services. So let's start with secondary industry. It is on your book in page number 155. The topic is secondary industry. And I've told you it is all about the processing and the manufacturing. Secondary industry is concerned with changing raw material from the primary sector or secondary products to form a semi-finished or a finished product. So like we are using uh, um, the raw material could be in any form, and we are using the raw material to make it a semi finished or a finished ready product, which is called the value added products. So let me define the industry first. It is the economic activity concerned with the processing of raw materials and manufacture of goods in factories. So this is basically depends on the factories, and the economic activity of a country that is based on factories is called the industries. The secondary industry involves the manufacture of raw materials into another ready product by manual labor or by machines. Secondary industries often use assembly lines, for example, a car factory or iron steel industry. The assembling factories are those which, especially the car factories, they are having all the parts of cars, like they are importing the car uh, products or the car parts from other countries. Just like we have so many cars that are from we can say these are Japanese cars. We are just importing their parts, and then we are assembling the parts into our industries. These are called the assembly industries. Let me explain the system model of the secondary industry, as you have in your book on page number 155, figure 9.1, which shows the secondary industry as a system. So basically there are three main categories in the system, and these are inputs, processes, and the outputs. The inputs are the things that are needed to make or create a product. These may be physical or human, for example, labor, workers, money, or raw materials. The processes like the events or activities that take place to make a product, for example, watering crops or assembling a car. And the outputs are the finished or the ready product that is sold to a consumer, for example, milk, a television, or a car. On page number 155 in the second para, some of the components of the inputs are given. The first one is the capital. Capital is the finance to establish and manage the factories. So we must need some money or financial asset to start a business. So that is capital. The second one is the enterprise. The second one is the enterprise. This is actually the action. These are the business skills needed to develop ideas for products and to manufacture and market them in a successful way. Obviously, we need to commercialize or to give them promotion to the product on a media. So there are some business skills that are important for starting a business or industry. Then the third one is land. Land is also very important because we need land uh, for establishing an industry or a factory. So the land, the actual place where the industry is located is known as land. Then another thing is raw material. Obviously, without raw material, we cannot start any of the industry. The basic commodity that is transformed by industrial process, that is called the raw material. It could be in any form, especially we have a lot of raw materials from agriculture sectors, like many of the crops are used as a raw material. Even some of the minerals are used as a raw material. Then is power. Power is energy. Obviously, we need energy or power to run the machinery of the industry. Every industry uses power. Some, like smelting, have high power consumption, while others, like stitching, have much less. Smelting is the extracting of metal from ore. Like this is when we are extracting, we have different of the minerals are obtained in a form of ore. So when we are smelting them, it means that we are from the ore we are extracting metal. That is called smelting, and obviously it uses a high power energy. And then if we are using the stitching process, so it need less power. Then the next one is the labor. Labor, again, very important. We need some workers to run the machine, to work on the factory. So the number, skills, and other characteristics of the workforce is known as labor. So on the same page, the next topic is factors influencing industrial location. Obviously, if we are building a factory or making an industry, we need a specific location, the land. But there are some factors that should be considered at the time of choosing a land or a location for an industry. Industries are normally located where most of the factors shown in the figure 9.2 on your book are available. However, it is unlikely that all the factors will be available at any one particular location. The location for a factory is chosen in such a way that the total cost of bringing all the inputs together, producing the goods, and distributing the products to the market are minimized and allow for maximum profit. These factors could be divided into physical factors and human factors. Physical factors means the natural factors, like the natural routes. There must be some natural routes um, uh, where we can move through vehicles, and the site requirements. These are the physical factors. But the human factors are the raw material that we are using, that we are giving for a product, then the access to market. Obviously, we need a market where we can give the ready products, then the capital, the financial asset or the money that we are using to start an industry. Then the government policy is obviously very, very important for any of the location of the industries. And the skilled labor, we need uh, skilled labor, and the power supply. Obviously, the government is supplying all the infrastructure, and the power supply is the main component of the infrastructure and the industrial linkages. So these are very, very important things that we should keep in mind before selection of the location. As I said, the physical factors are the natural factors. So the important one are like the flat land. Flat or the plain land is very, very important. It is a lot easier to build on flat land than hilly land. So most industries look for flat sites. Then available land. If industries are successful, they will want to expand. So most industries will look for sites that have the potential to expand factories or the offices. Then unpolluted land, that is again very important. Most industries would prefer to build on greenfield sites. This is because there are no cleanup costs before buildings. And the natural transport links, the natural routes, in an increasingly globalized world, products are now sold worldwide. Therefore, it is important to be close to a natural transport routes like rivers and the coast. Then the available raw materials for any industries that use raw materials, especially weight loss industries, it is very important to be close to them. Renewable energy resources, it is becoming increasingly important for companies to demonstrate their sustainability. Therefore, it will become increasingly important to have access to renewable energy sources like wind and sun. Nice environment for tertiary and quaternary industries who are trying to attract skilled workers. It is useful to be near a nice environment to make workers working there more attractive. Then water supply, this is the most important thing. More for many industries, especially manufacturing, it is very important to be near a reliable water supply. It could be a river or a reservoir. Then the climate, for some industries, a good climate can be very important. For example, you would not locate a solar panel research and development company in a place where the sun never shines. So the human factors includes skilled labor, and in some industries, especially in the quaternary, it is important. Sorry, it is important that there is an availability of skilled labor. Quaternary industry is the fourth basic sector of the industry, and it is like where we need the intellectual services. So this is not a part of your syllabus. We will only study about the tertiary sector here, and so obviously for tertiary sector we need skilled laborers. Then cheap labor in other industries like cloth in production, and availability of cheap labor is very important. This is why many cloth factories locate in LADCs. LADCs are the less economically developed countries, where the GDP is the lower standard of living, in the lower standard of living. Then available capital for industries to build factories or offices, research and develop new products or enter new markets, they need access to money. Then market, for any industry to survive, they need customers. Therefore, it is very important to locate near their potential market. Then supply network, most industries have a large supply network to ensure the smooth production of products. It helps being close to suppliers. And good housing, this is very important for the workers. To attract any working, it is important to have suitable housing nearby. For quaternary industries, this might be good quality housing. For secondary industries, this might be high density, cheaper housing. Good schools and hospitals, again, they need a facility for workers. Again, to attract workers and especially their families, it is important to have good nearby schools and hospitals. Nearby universities for quaternary industry that carry out a lot of research and development, they need to be located near universities that have skilled workers and available laboratories. In transport links, it is important to be close to good roads and rail links so that industries can receive supplies and distribute products. Good communication, it is now very important for industries to have good communication so that they can contact suppliers and customers. Reliable electricity and water supply, for all industries a constant electricity supply is essential because industries can't afford breaks in production. Raw materials, all materials that used into the manufacturing of a finished bulk, even though if it may not be present in final product. For example, certain solvents, etc., and which are consumed by person using it, all are called as raw materials. Raw materials are the basic commodity from which finished goods are made. They may be primary, processed, or even manufactured products. Water and the output from agriculture, fishing, forestry, and mining are all primary resources, raw materials. Most of the agricultural products may be used as raw materials. Wheat is the main raw material in baking products like bread and biscuits. The cotton textile industry processes cotton into yarn and then into cloth. Oil seeds are processed into edible oil, by which vegetable oil industries, sorry, oil seeds are processed into edible oil by the vegetable oil industry. And crude oil is the raw oil which is not refined. Crude oil can only be used as a power source after processing or after refining. Sustainable primary resources include timber and water. Timber is the ready wood that is used for making furnitures or even used in construction. Timber is the raw material for, amongst others, the furniture, paper, and varnish industries. Water is used to drive turbines for hydroelectric power production and is an important raw material in many industries such as the soft drinks industries. Metallic mineral resources like gold, silver, iron, and copper, and non metallic minerals such as gypsum, limestone, marble, china clay, sulfur, or soapstone serve as raw materials in many important industries like iron and steel, chemical, cement, detergent, electrical appliances. A raw material is not confined, confined means restricted or limited only to primary products. But some of the secondary processed and manufactured products also serve as the raw material. Just like cotton is the raw material, it is a crop. So this is directly we are obtaining this from the crop fields. This is cotton is a raw material. In many industries, for making cotton yarns, it is a raw material. But in making in a cloth factory, cotton yarn is which is a processed product, is a primary product for the making cotton fabric. And if you are taking an industry that is about the stitching, like the cotton garments, so the cotton fabric is the which is a processed product, is the primary product or the raw material for making garments. Wheat flour is a processed product, but it is the raw material in a bakery where it is further processed to make bread or biscuits. Wood pulp and cotton yarn are also processed materials that are raw materials. Cotton yarn is used to make manufactured cotton cloth. Cotton cloth is then an example of a manufactured raw material which can itself be further manufactured into a garment. Other manufactured products may be like specially produced as components. These are manufactured raw materials which are assembled together often in another factory. For example, electric motors, wires, fan guards, and many other components are assembled together to make an electric fan. As you know, the main source of our economy is agro-based industries. So the main industry of Pakistan is agro-based industry. Industries which use agriculture products as their raw material are called agro-based industries. They include cotton textiles, woolen industries, the sugar industry, and fruit juices. In Pakistan, agro-based industries are common as they use local raw material. So when we are using local raw materials, it means that we will not increase the price of the ready commodity. If we are importing the raw material from other countries, obviously it will increase the price of the ready product for consumer. Because Pakistan has insufficient raw materials, some industries have to import them, which will automatically affect the consumer because the price of the commodity will be increased and many of the people are unable to buy certain products. These imported products include oil refineries, the iron and steel industry, fertilizer factories, and car assembly factories. I've told you that car assembly factories are like they are importing parts, and these parts are added as a semi-finished products. Imported raw materials increase the cost of production and increase the country's import bill. At the time of partition, our industrial base was totally negligible. In the past 50 years, the country has undergone a structural change from a purely agrarian economy to a semi industrial state. Agrarian economy is when the economy is based on the land farming. So we were bound to land farming only. Now we have a semi industrial state. It means like we had raw materials only. And when we are exporting raw material to other countries, it will give us less profit. And when we are exporting value added products which are ready made or ready commodity in the industries, this will give us this strength in the economy. So now we have reached to semi-industrial state. Pakistan has developed many consumer goods industries. Heavy industries like iron and steel, shipbuilding, fertilizer, and chemical industries have also been developed. So let's start with the principal factory industries in Pakistan. Major industries of Pakistan contribute greatly to the economy of a country. They are usually in the formal sector and are usually registered. They employ a larger number of employees and they are usually large and important industries of a country, and they usually contribute to the GDP or the gross domestic production of a country. Some of the major industries of Pakistan are the cotton textile industry, the agriculture industry, mining industry, sugar industry, and many more. So let's start with the cotton textile industry. Cotton textiles is Pakistan's largest industry. It provides employment to about 50% of the industrial labor force. Pakistan is the eighth largest exporter of textile products in Asia. It has been developed at various locations, like Karachi, Hyderabad, and Faisalabad are the main centers of the cotton textile industry. In addition, the sector employs about 45% of the total labor force in the country, and at present there are 1,221 ginning units, 442 spinning units, 124 large spinning units, and 425 small units which produce textiles. The textile industry in Pakistan is the largest manufacturing industry in Pakistan, and Pakistan is the eighth largest exporter of textile products in Asia. This sector contributes 8.5% of the GDP of Pakistan. Now, the topic is the importance of the cotton textile industry for Pakistan on page number 158. The textile industry is the largest and the most important sector of the economy. It comprises cotton yarn, cotton fabrics, and finished goods like towels, hosiery, which is like the stockings, the socks, and the tights, knitwears, the knitted garments, and the ready-made garments. Pakistan's economy relies heavily on its cotton and textile sector. The cotton processing and textile industry make up almost half of the country's manufacturing base. While cotton is Pakistan's principal industry crop, supplying critical income to rural households. Altogether, the cotton textile sector accounts for 11% of the gross domestic production of country and 60% of export receipts. It possesses great export potential. The sector provides employment to a large number of people. It contributes approximately 7% of the GDP, and which is like somehow nowadays it is 11%. Cotton textiles are value added products and they earn more foreign exchange than raw cotton. As I said, the raw cotton or raw material give us less benefit, but if we export value added products means the ready made garments or the ready products, the ready made commodities. If we are exporting the ready made garments or the value added products, it will give us more economy to the country. It makes use of local raw materials, reducing dependence on imports. Obviously, we do not need to import cotton yarn or cotton crop from other countries because we can produce much of the cotton crop. It makes use of local raw materials, reducing dependence on imports. So it imports production of raw cotton by increasing the income of farmers, and there is a good demand for Pakistan's cotton product in international markets. It has proved its credibility over time. It means that our product is reliable. So we have proved our reliability in the world market. Skilled and unskilled cheap labor is available to work in cotton textile factories. Cotton products are produced on a large scale that reduces the cost per unit. It meets the domestic demand of cotton products. Top buyers of Pakistani textile goods are USA, European Union's Gulf region, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, Saudi Arabia, Italy, Turkey, Germany, Norway, France, Canada, Sweden, Australia, etc. There are certain problems that are faced by the textile industry. Lack of research and development in cotton sector in a country and lack of modernized equipments as it needs further modernization to sustain in the international market. Finance bill to burden industry further and increasing cost of production. The internal issues pose a larger threat for Pakistan's textile industry. It could be the internal issues of the government policies or even the internal issues in the industry itself. The effect of inflation. Inflation is we can say, a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. Like when um, the value of rupee is decreased in the world market, we can say when the value of our currency is decreasing in the world market. So obviously there's a decrease power in the in our currency. There is a decrease purchasing power. Again, there is a shortage of raw material due to the leaf curl virus in 4 consecutive years. Leaf curl virus is a disease. This is the curling of leaves due to fungus. So because of this disease, we have a shortage of raw material, and when we are facing the shortage of raw material, obviously we will import it from other countries, which will increase the price of the commodity. Then recession in the international market. Recession means a period of economic decline. So it can affect the our textile industry. Then we have strong competition with few other countries like South Korea, Egypt, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Thailand. Then again, we have energy crisis like frequent power breakdowns and shortage of electricity increases the cost of production. So we have energy crisis, we have electricity crisis here, we have a gas shortage. Then we have tight monetary policy by the government, which can like the removal of subsidy on textile sectors from the government. Then lack of new investment. People are not investing in this sector because it is not reliable. Then the prices of the raw material are increasing. The export performance of textile sector is not good, so it required more capital and investment. International restrictions on Pakistan's export due to child labor and environmental issues to reduce cotton export. We have outdated textile machinery, means old machinery that needs to be replaced with modern machinery. There's a high cost of imported machinery, burden foreign exchange reserves, and shortage of water or the water crisis that can reduce the raw material for cotton industry. Obviously, for more production, we need more water. Then we don't have proper infrastructure, poor roads, delay in rail service, frequent closures of ports due to political instability negatively affect production and sale of cotton products. Frequent changes in government policies lower the confidence of the investors. That's why we have lack of new investment. And the terrorist activities. The terrorist activities and uncertain political conditions lead to the closure of cotton factories in Karachi. Pakistan has the advantage of cheap labor as compared to its competitors, but unfortunately, the labor productivity is very low. There are hardly any training programs to develop on the skills of these laborers, and the craftsmen depend upon their inherited skills with no advancement and research. Textile industry is the backbone of the Pakistan's economy. The textile industry of Pakistan plays an important role in earning foreign exchange, which can improve the balance of payment of our country. It can provide employment to the country. Pakistan textile industry is going through one of the toughest period in decades. Our textile sector needs to capitalize on the new emerging opportunities by adhering to global best practices, adapting rapidly changing technologies, better supply chain management while trying to reach global value chains. The government has introduced various incentives to enhance the supply of raw cotton and the competitiveness of the textile industry. It has supported the industry through the Economic Review Program of 1997 and radical reforms in the tax regime. I think that's enough for today's lecture. Here I am going to give you an assignment. You have to do question number 1 from unit 9 from page number 185. And the question is, suppose you want to set up a cotton textile industry in Pakistan. Explain the factors you will consider in choosing the particular location for your industry. As I said in the lecture that there are certain factors which could be divided into physical and human factors. So you have to write about all those factors while choosing a location for your industry. Create your answer, do it on your neat notebook, and please make a margin line. Must write today's date and day. and maintain your index. Thank you so much, dear students, for watching this video. We'll meet again with another video with another topic. Till then, bye.